are better together, always by your side. We laugh together, sometimes we cry. We are better together, better together, always better together, better together. We are better together.
Welcome to the Better Together podcast, a space for real stories, shared experiences, and meaningful connection. Each episode, we explore the journeys of our community members, their challenges, their growth, and the power of peer support. We know that sharing personal experiences takes courage, and we're grateful to those who open up in this space.
Welcome to the next episode of the Better Together podcast, and today we're on recovery and discovery. My name is Alan Hine, and I'm going to tell you my story today.
And I'm John Murphy, and I'm going to discuss that with Alan. Alan, can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I am 43 years of age. I am separated and I have 3 kids. I spent most of my life being a butcher and I loved it. I love butchering. I still do a bit of butchering, but in the last few years I have tried to challenge myself and I've gone back to college. I've done so many different courses and I've discovered a lot in life in the past 2 years on my recovery and in my recovery. It's been a difficult few years. I hit rock bottom. I'm in recovery from drinking drugs and mental health issues as well. But I'm on the right side. I've got my kids who are everything to me and I've got my life back on track. I'm building my life again from rock bottom up. And I suppose in this episode we'll dive deep into that and I will let you know more.
Thanks, Alan. I'm just going to give a bit of my background. I hit crisis point in my life back in 2015 with depression and anxiety. And I reached out for help and I got the help I needed. And I'm in a totally different place today than I was back then. I knew there was something wrong. I didn't know what it was. I had an idea. But it's not until somebody, a professional, a medical professional, tells you this is what it is, that you have a name for it, and then you can start to deal with it, get the help you need, etc., etc. So it was a difficult road, but I'm coming out the other side of it. I know I will likely live with depression for the rest of my life, but I'm learning to cope with it and learning the coping tools and mechanisms to deal with it. So, Alan, what role has connection had in your recovery?
Good question. Addiction, mental health, you go into isolation, you lock yourself away with your own demons, which I've had for a long time. I used to be really, really strong, confident, and I suppose trauma has knocked that out of me. I suppose 2015, my life changed and it gradually got worse and worse. I dabbled more into drinking drugs and I became self-obsessed with drinking drugs and partying life and all the wrong things in life, I suppose, until I came into recovery and Better Together. When I hit rock bottom, I was suicidal. I lost everything. I lost my job at 20 years. I lost my house, and in 2022 my wife left me. She had enough and I was at rock bottom. I was out of control, and in Christmas 2022, Christmas Day, I joined Better Together, and it was like a light bulb moment. It was like meeting lost family members. That's the way I can describe it. It was, I felt at home. I felt understood. I felt heard. I got compassion. I got sympathy. I got everything that I was craving on Better Together Christmas 2022, where I just wanted to end my life that day, and I knew I wasn't alone, and that connection and meeting those people on that meeting saved my life. So that's how connection is so important to me. Instead of isolating away in the bedroom or going to the pub and drinking or at home snorting nines. That's not life. Out there meeting like-minded people is life, and that's connection.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I found during my depression, I completely removed myself from other people. And it, like, before I would have been a relatively confident person. And it just absolutely dented my confidence to no end. And I'd still be out, I'd see people that I knew, and the usual, they'd ask, "How are you, John?" And I'd say, "Yeah, I'm grand." I wasn't grand, but I hid it very well. So I won't say I became a hermit of any kind, but I definitely withdrew from society. So when I found Better Together, it would have been October 2023. It was through one of the other members, Stephanie. She told me about her peer support that she was doing, and she told me all about Better Together, and I actually thought, it sounds really interesting, you know. So I did go on for a few meetings, and I was still the anxiety of sharing my stuff was still there. I kind of came back from it a little bit and then stopped going, but then Stephanie told me there was a togethering in January. I just said, okay, it's time to, sink or swim. Yeah. And I literally dove into the deep end and went on the togethering, but it was the best decision I've ever made in my life, to connect, to find the connection that I've always wanted, people who could relate to the stuff that I was going through, who understood me. I didn't really find that understanding with family and friends, and even the connection that we're having right now as we're talking here, in this podcast, it's very beneficial for me. I can, I can feel it, how beneficial it is. So it's the connection end of things has become a massive part of my life, with regards to both the togetherings that we do and also the daily meetups online on Zoom. There was a time when I didn't go there for a week during the year, and I missed it so much that I had to come back on the Sunday, Sunday weekly one. So yeah, for me, that's the best part of Better Together is to find people who relate to what you're going through.
Yeah, definitely, John. I remember early in my recovery, I used to wake up every morning and I had 2 mirrors in my room. I always tell this story, but I'd stand in front of the mirror. It could be 11 or 12 o'clock in the day when I get up out of bed, and I'd say to myself, staring at myself in the mirror, and I'd say, you just need to get to 7 o'clock to get to that meeting, for that connection, for that understanding. And that meeting is every day, and Better Together, there's no other form like it. It's special. It's family. It's that togetherness that is really, really unique, and I'll be forever grateful. I've met my best friends now are from Better Together. They're very, very special.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I have, I'd say 2 or 3 good friends now coming from Better Together, that I could honestly say, like 5 or 6 years ago, I never would have thought that I'd have a friend like that. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the friends I had prior would have been just friends for the sake of being friends.
We're the friends, John. I always think old friends. We're the friends, or we're acquaintances, or we're the, just hanging around with. It's like hanging around with the boys just for that session of going to the pub or going out or going to a friend's house. Is that friendship?
No.
Is it real? Is it? It's all like it's crazy. When I suppose when you're young and you think you have to live your life. Oh, you have to go drinking with the lads, or you have to do this, or you have to do that. You don't. There's a better life out there than drink drugs. If you do the right things and you look after yourself, your mental health as well. Get out in the open air. Go to meet people. Meeting people is so special, and that's what saved me. And I know that on Better Together, it has saved hundreds of people.
Absolutely, yeah. And I found I've met people through Better Together. Like, I feel I've known them all my life.
Yeah.
And it's a very different kind of friendship, but a much, much more fulfilling kind.
It's a special connection, John, because when we all met up today, we all hugged each other. There's no one else does that. We're all huggers, and even people that are not like that and they're on different forms, or they don't do that. And it's just that special connection with each other on Better Together is, I keep saying, unique, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's become the norm that when we all meet up, whatever we're doing, then we give each other hugs. And I remember meeting somebody from outside Better Together, and I just went. Normally, I went in for the hug, and they're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. You stand up. We stand up in a room, like, and we just,
Yeah.
embrace each other, which is it's really, really lovely.
And that's part of the connection, is that we've all made really deep connections with each other.
Yeah, we we've heard each other's stories or our backgrounds. We've been on the journey together, and in this, as recovery and discovery, we discover a lot about each other.
Absolutely, yeah. And the one thing I found amazing with Better Together is that everybody's so open and honest.
Yeah, you have to be, don't you? There's no hiding in recovery, I suppose, from drink or drugs. There's no hiding. You can hide in your bedroom and drink and take lines like I used to do, but that's not life. Get out, talk to people, talk to each other. Getting out and about is life, That's what life is about. Don't bother going to the pub or whatever, hanging out with the boys, hanging out with the girls. Yeah, crap.
And even I think with regards to the friends I've made from Better Together, is that if I'm not honest with them, it's not good. I mean, they're being able to be honest with me. I have to give that honesty in return.
I heard something the other day on a different podcast, and one lad said, you go out with your lads and you get off your face, whatever, and you're hugging each other and telling each other you love them, whatever. All rubbish. Well, when you meet up on it together like we do, or we go to the Christmas party, or we go to restaurants, or all together and on our walks, whatever, and when we hug each other, and, we talk to each other, that's normal life. That's what it's all about, and we can remember all those moments in life, all those good moments. It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd certainly believe now I've enjoyed a lot of the togetherings that we've gone on.
What was your best one, John?
Best togethering is probably the first one.
Yeah, I remember meeting you.
Because like that, I didn't know what to expect. I think, I had my sister's car, if I remember correctly, and I drove down. Yeah, I did, yeah. And again, I didn't know what to expect, so I'd never met anybody before. I'd seen them on the screen, of course, a few times. But it's not the same. To meet somebody in person is very, very different than just to talk to them in front of a screen.
Yeah, but did you feel uncomfortable? Did you feel out of place?
Initially, yeah, I was very apprehensive.
Okay.
The anxiety was kicking in.
Okay, yeah.
And then I recognised Laura straight away, because Laura was nearly on every meeting back then. Yeah. She sort of came up to me, hugs, and I was kind of, oh, okay, this is grand. And then everybody else coming up in rows, and yourself, and everybody else, and okay, this must be the norm.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
People who I didn't know, and I was hugging them, and it felt good to embrace somebody in a very welcoming way. And I found I was very welcomed. We had, I think it was the first or second session, where we wrote a word about ourselves on a post-it.
Yeah.
So everybody wrote a word about each person in the room, what you see in them.
Yeah.
And I found that when I started to read the words, and I said, how do these people see this in me when I can't see that in me?
Okay, yeah.
It was overwhelming. And I had a few moments where I got very emotional. And
that weekend was connection, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. And even if I remember correctly, I think Jim was sitting on my left, and we were asking, what do you want to get out of this weekend? Mm-hmm. And I said, connection. And it just came to me. Yeah. And at that time, I really didn't know the Better Together ethos or anything like that. Yeah, it was amazing. And then I remember I made a commitment that day to everybody in the room that I was going to be on a meeting every day, and I was. Yeah.
It is.
You just couldn't get rid of me then.
Well, that's what it's all about, John. You were part of the family then. You moved in. You moved in by.
Absolutely. And like that, that's what the togotherings are about, is just go there, meet people, and discover things about yourself and about them, and partake in the activities.
Mm-hmm. It's all about taking part, isn't it? It's best just to get in at the deep end, get involved, and work together. We did a lot of stuff. We did art and everything. And you did yoga. I'm not into yoga now, but you did yoga. Did a meditation, all right. But
that's right. Yeah.
So it was nice, even the walks that we went on. Beautiful.
And like that, yeah, the estate in there was really, go out on a walk. It's really calming and
Yeah. It was a safe space, wasn't
yeah,
it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I will be going there soon again, I'm sure.
Oh, please God.
What's something that brings you joy, no matter what?
Being sober. Being sober brings me joy. Every day when I wake up. No headache, no money worries, no... I won't say looking over your shoulder, but like being able to get up and do stuff and being there for the kids. That's what brings me joy. And of course, sunny days bring me joy as well. At the moment, I've actually stopped walking, but I used to do 25,000 steps a day. And getting out and about used to bring me... It saved me in my early days of recovery as well. Myself and Rose used to do, it was crazy steps a week. Like you're talking 120, 30,000 steps a week when the weather was good as well. That was in the early stages of my recovery in 2022. Just meeting new people then as well. Out in the fresh air, John. Connection and meeting people brings me joy. The right people.
I suppose I'll answer the same question. It's something I used to do a long time ago when I was about 19, 20 years old, was archery. And, absolutely loved it. Even got into shooting competitively, in local club competitions and stuff like that. I even have a couple of trophies at home as well.
Wow.
And the one thing I found so amazing about it is when you're on the line and you have the target in front of you and you have your bow and you place the arrow in the bow and you draw it back, in that moment nothing else matters except that target in front
focus.
of you. And I've read and I've listened to some interviews with the top archers in the world, and they say it's like you're in this zone, you're in this corridor, and there's a corridor between you and the target, and you can't see anything outside that, you can't hear anything outside that, and in that moment the focus that you need to be able to shoot at a high level is huge, and like that, it's a way to train your mind to block out some of the rubbish. I really enjoyed it. I always enjoyed that. I do want to get back into it at some point. It's a little expensive to buy all the equipment.
That's something now I didn't know about you, John. Brilliant.
I used to play golf too. Don't judge me.
No, not a golfer, John.
I stopped playing that a while ago. What's one piece of advice that you would give your past self?
I'd go travel, John. I'd slow down. I'd slow down life. Not to want everything yesterday. Focus on the good things in life as well. Today it's my kids and work, courses that I'm doing. It's not all about going out and drinking and partying. I suppose I'm at an age in my life now that all that's gone, and just to go travel more. I have travelled. I've been to Australia, I've been to America, and I've been to other places. But travel, and experience life in different places and enjoy it without any drink or drugs. Just to enjoy life, John. A bit more, slow it down. People say, you're up against the clock in your life, and you're not going to live forever. But there's plenty of time in life to enjoy it and do the things you enjoy.
All right, and I'll try and answer the same question.
Yeah.
I think I'd go back and tell myself to have the courage to start my own business. Over the years, I've always worked for other people, and they dictate to you when you come in and work what you get paid, etc., etc. And I always wanted to start my own business, but it just never, got to that stage. And I have now, which I think that's a massive part of my recovery, is actually finding the courage to say, okay, what's stopping you? And I couldn't answer that. There was nothing stopping me. So I said, well, let's get going. Let's start a business. It's a long road to getting things exactly the way I need them and want them. But I've started the process, and that's bringing me a significant amount of joy.
Brilliant. At
the moment. So yeah. So I would go back and say, find the courage to start it much earlier in my life.
Yeah, if we only knew that, it's all in hindsight, John, as well.
Absolutely,
but look, we wouldn't be where we are today without living all those experiences. We learn from our mistakes, we get stronger, and we soldier on as well in life.
Well, thanks, Alan, for talking to me today, and appreciate you sharing your views, your opinions.
Thank you, John. I loved it. Really great.
And I guess we'll leave it at that.
So that's it for this episode of Better Together podcast. Thank you for listening and for being part of this conversation. If something has resonated with you today, we'd love for you to keep this conversation going. We invite you to visit the feedback section of our website, where we'd love to hear your comments, questions and ideas. You can find more about Better Together at better-together.ie or follow us on Instagram and Facebook at bettertogether.support. If you or someone you know needs support, please reach out to the Samaritans on free phone 116 123 or text HELLO to 50808, the 24/7 messaging service. Recovery is possible. We're always better together. We'll see you next time.
We are better together, always by your side. We laugh together, sometimes we cry. We are better together, better together. Always better together, better together.